Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I have a question for you. Are you expecting Ripple to pump the price of XRP? Are you expecting Ripple to pump your XRP bags? Now, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but I'm just going to tell you and be kind of blunt right at the outset. If you hold the position that Ripple is actually going to be some sort of force that in a detectable way will pump the price of XRP, I just think that's a foolish perspective. And I have seen some individuals in our community, dating back to when I jumped in 2017, detest reality, because the fact of the matter is that whatever good news Ripple has ever had business-wise, even if it specifically pertains to XRP, the price of XRP hasn't budged. So to me, it's never made sense anyway. Now, does that mean that Ripple doesn't matter for XRP or the XRP ecosystem? No, I'm certainly not saying that. I'm just saying if you think that's going to be some sort of detectable driver in price, I respectfully disagree, and markets have shown us that's not what matters. But I do think they matter, and when investing in a cryptocurrency, to me, broadly speaking, I think it's about the entirety of the ecosystem. And so the fact that there are multiple developers building stuff, vibrant community, the technology on layer 1, functionally, it just works. It does what Bitcoin can't on layer 1. Like, even that, it's been adopted just because it can do that. And it was so rare, and it was among the first movers in the world of crypto. So there's a lot of reasons. So yes, Ripple matters, but to me, I'm investing not just for one specific developer, though Ripple is one of them. It's about the ecosystem. Fine. So yes, Ripple's a part of that. So if you want to word it in that way, it could kind of trick somebody into thinking that I believe something I don't. You could say, are you investing because Ripple is doing stuff with XRP? I mean, technically that's true. So I could say yes, but that doesn't sufficiently paint a picture as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. So that would be disingenuous if somebody tried to twist it like that. And I have seen people do that. But it's part of the ecosystem. And it's thriving, and it is trending up despite all the attacks, all the toxic Bitcoin maximalists, which, by the way, they attack us because they view XRP itself as a threat because it does what Bitcoin can't. That's very obvious. It was being attacked from the earliest of days, and that's not my opinion. That's actual fact. So I want to share with you perspective, though, because given what's happening, obviously everybody at this point knows about the SEC appeal. That news is from a week ago. XRP is still holding up. You'll love to see it. Clearly, almost zero humans that have held XRP a week ago actually care about this appeal, as evidenced by the fact that you saw 90 minutes of panic selling followed by pretty much sideways price action for a week. That's incredible. That is a sign of strength. So I want to share with you perspective, though, because what's happening from a legal perspective, yes, it certainly historically has mattered, but I wanted to share with you perspective from Attorney Bill Morgan specifically on this topic here. So there was this post before I read what he wrote on this topic, actually, and I think he was pretty much nailing it here. And it's nice to get a perspective from somebody who has a legal background here. I wanted to share 2 screen grabs that he shared with his post. The first one is from XRP Victory Day, July 13th of last year, 2023, when XRP got its legal clarity. What a fantastic day. And shared the screen grab from the Torres decision, which reads in part as follows. As the Ripple Primer and the Gateways brochure, and I'll just pause and note, there was a brochure that Ripple handed out like a decade ago. I actually have forgotten which year. I can't remember if it was 2013, 2014. It was super early on. I think something like 100 people ever got the brochure. It was some ridiculous small number, so pretty much nobody ever saw it. But the SEC brought the fact that Ripple had this brochure, and I never saw it firsthand myself, so I don't know if it's something specific about XRP. But that was cited by the SEC as proof that Ripple was offering promises, and it would allow for the broader XRP ecosystem participants, even if you're just a speculator, to believe that Ripple's going to prop up the price of XRP for you, which is a bogus argument. Like, again, I think literally, from what I recall anyway, I'm pretty sure it was like 100 of these brochures got out into the wild. And so that's what's being referenced here, just to be clear here. But that was a decade ago. So as the Ripple Primer and the Gateways brochure were widely circulated amongst potential investors like the institutional buyers, but there is no evidence that these documents were distributed more broadly to the general public, such as XRP purchasers on digital asset exchanges. Nor is there evidence that programmatic buyers understood that statements made by Larson, Schwartz, Garlinghouse, and others were representations of Ripple and its efforts. Spot on. And so that's the type of decision that we were hoping in the years leading up to this, the type of decision that we were hoping Torres would come to. It was the right one. It's the rational one. Of course, people purchasing XRP, you don't even know who the hell you're buying it from. And there are all sorts of people that have purchased XRP that haven't heard of Ripple. So even if you knew about Ripple before you purchased XRP, so what? The SEC didn't even prove that anybody knew about it. In fact, to the contrary, this is why John Deaton's involvement in the case was so pivotal, because he represented 75,000 XRP holders, and there was literally something like, from memory, I think it was somewhere around 3,000 XRP holders filed affidavits, and they were arguing that they hadn't even heard of Ripple when all this went down, when they first purchased XRP. So lots of evidence in that direction, literally none to the contrary from the SEC. Think about that. The asshat pricks at the SEC, they didn't bother, probably because they couldn't, to accumulate any sort of evidence that XRP holders were purchasing based on Ripple's efforts. Literally none. It's astonishing, right? This is a real case that happened in real life that we all had to live through. And we missed a bull market because of it. Really grinds my gears. And then there was this screen grab, and this would have been from before the final decision came out. This has to do with the SEC's expert witnesses. Check this out. Defendants argue that expert number one's first opinion as to what a reasonable XRP purchaser believed should be excluded because he lacks a reliable methodology to support his opinion. And so, of course, I believe they're talking about Patrick Doody. And yes, Patrick Doody. Don't look at me, folks, like, I didn't name the guy. It's not my fault. It's Patrick Doody. It just is. It's Patrick Doody. I know it's unfortunate. But here's this piece. This happens to be from CoinMarketCap, March 13th, 2023. I don't need to read this article here, but I want to highlight this portion, which reads as follows. Judge Torres excluded the SEC's top expert witness, Patrick Doody, who was tasked with analyzing the expectations of XRP buyers. Now, this is a highly paid XRP expert witness who was thrown out by the judge. This guy, Patrick Doody, that guy, I'm an adult child. That guy literally, and he was actually asked this, like sworn testimony. He when asked, like, okay, did you go talk to any XRP holders about why they bought XRP? And his answer was no. So here he was, a highly paid expert witness, claiming to know why XRP buyers were buying XRP. And then they're like, so did you talk to any of them? He's like, no. Got thrown out. And I'm not 100% sure if that's the one that was being referenced, because there was another one that, I can't remember the guy's name now, but I've been Allen something. He had some ridiculous methodology. And he said that if not for Ripple's efforts, that XRP never would have gone above something like 2 cents. It was something stupid like that. And so you'd have to actually believe that the entire market would have gone onto this crazy bull run in tandem in 2017, but XRP would have been the only one not to go if not for Ripple's efforts. Everything else just went because it moved in tandem based on liquidity, but Ripple, without their efforts, XRP just wouldn't have done anything. So there are a couple really bad expert witnesses, obviously. But here's what Attorney Morgan had to say on this matter. He said, even less relevant is the impact of Ripple's actions on XRP price movement, up or down, including selling its XRP held in escrow. But that will not stop the SEC trying to convince a court in its appeal that Judge Torres got it wrong, finding that the SEC did not prove that programmatic buyers of XRP expected profits from Ripple's efforts. So I'll pause and note, when they're talking about programmatic sales, those are sales originated by Ripple. That's true. And you could even say it's on secondary markets, fine, because they're selling on exchanges, whether it's Coinbase, just pick an exchange. It doesn't matter what the exchange is, okay? But the key takeaway is, even if they're doing that, selling on any exchange, the recipient wouldn't know who it's coming from. So the fact that the SEC would still push back against this is completely absurd. It's losing. And my God, Judge Torres, the way she drafted this final opinion, oh my God, it was like chef's kiss here. Like this is, it's like, what sorcery is this? It is so rock solid. It's roughly unthinkable. The idea that, the Second Circuit would, kind of overturn this. I just, and there are reasons for this. Actually, before we get into that, let me read a little bit further, because Attorney Morgan actually does talk about some of this. But check this out. So he wrote, let me read this. Okay, so, and the SEC will do so even though the evidence of its expert on this very issue was not allowed. To the contrary, the evidence before the court of many actual investors was that they did not rely on Ripple's efforts or even knew about Ripple. The SEC will do so despite real gaps in its own evidence in key respects, which are referred to in the summary judgment. So I'll pause here, and I already shared those screen grabs with you, so that's what he's referencing. And I just got to tell you, like, this is really not going to go well for the SEC. This appeal is not going to go well for them. There's almost a 0% chance. And already we know, if you just talk about a random case, only about 10% of appeals are actually reversed on any given case. Now, in this case, if you look at the particulars, I think the odds of that are much lower than 10%. This is way too rock solid. There's so many holes. That's why, like, as Attorney Morgan was picking this apart, I'm like, yeah, you're highlighting all of these. Exactly. The SEC doesn't have these facts. What the hell do they think is going to happen on appeal? It's laughable. Anyway, Attorney Morgan continues. The SEC will do so even though everyone in the XRP community that follows for any significant length of time Ripple's announcements about its products that utilize XRP and efforts to develop its cross-border ODL software knows it has no impact on XRP's price, and that no reasonable investor can expect profits from Ripple's efforts. Even that part, I got to give a little golf clap for that. Yes, that is absolutely correct. Ripple, it's so funny to me in hindsight. I look at everything that's happened over the last several years, and this is a matter-of-fact statement. The SEC has more power to move the price of XRP than Ripple does. That is a factual statement. That is not my opinion. There is data. That is fact. Look at what happened in 2020, folks. The SEC did that, not Ripple. Anyway, and then Attorney Morgan wrote, despite having no expert evidence on the issue and no evidence from actual investors, the SEC will seek to convince the Second Circuit Court that the hypothetical reasonable investor, not a real investor, but a legal test, in reality a legal fiction, hypothetically in 2019 recalled reading some blog or post from Ripple in 2014 and purchased XRP expecting a profit from Ripple's efforts. The law, or at least the SEC, really can be an S. That's spot on. So again, they have no evidence, and in fact, there's so much evidence to the contrary, thanks to John Deaton and our community, people that have filed sworn affidavits. So there's evidence arguing, no, absolutely, that's not why we bought XRP. Yeah, exactly. Then the SEC has nothing to push against that except for hypotheticals. Hypothetically, somebody could have, though. Oh, okay, that's real solid, SEC, you little asshat pricks. Get the hell out of here. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'm just telling you, man. So, no, don't count on Ripple pumping the price of XRP. They don't have the ability to. But if you want your bags to get pumped, I mean, I'm not going to make a price prediction. I don't know what's going to happen with price. But I have a really strong suspicion that XRP is going to outperform pretty much the entire market from this point. I mean, it already has been for months now, but especially if you compare it to like just even other large cap coins, if we are going to have an alt season, you best believe XRP going to be there. And I mean, if it keeps doing what it's been doing the last few months and we get to this point where there's pure euphoria and XRP's been coiled up this long and it has legal clarity and obviously the fundamentals are strong, what do you think might happen? I'm guessing number go up. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.